So to keep it on this coach quarterback thing, right? We got another marriage that you would think would mirror that kind of does mirror the Brady Belichick dynamic. You have a coach who was good and respected, but not necessarily who they are today prior to getting this quarterback. The quarterback was once carried by great defenses, then eventually came into their own and became a superstar quarterback. And you got Pete Carroll versus Russell Wilson. Now, as you all know, I'm not the biggest Russell Wilson fan here, but Russell Wilson is a top 4 quarterback in this league. Just no questions asked, maybe top 3, depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll is in that same stratosphere as coaches in this league, as far as I'm concerned. He's done what Urban can't do. But Russ, Russ, go Hawks. Yeah, let's go Hawks. And Pete chewing his gum 200 miles per minute. They've had some beef in the past couple of years. Russ has been like, hey, yo, I'm tired of throwing the ball only on third down. I would like to throw the ball a bit more often. Let Russ cook. Then he puts out the 4 teams that he would go to if he were to leave Seattle. And all of this stuff is public. And I joked that he's going to be the next quarterback of the New York Football Giants because Sierra has to get out of Seattle. Like she can no longer live there. Like her celebrity is dying in Seattle. But Pete called out Russ for like really the first time of recent memory for a decision that he made in overtime. And I don't know if y'all caught, Russ came back and said, hey, like the ball was inches for being completed. Like, I'm not changing my process. Like, that was the right decision. So a little feistiness, after they had their kumbaya this summer working things out. But we had a conversation in the group text about who does Pete Carroll think he is to call out Russ. And I'm like, he's a Hall of Fame coach. He can call out his quarterback. I mean, hell, his quarterback's embarrassed him in the public for the last 2 summers. I think Pete Carroll has the right to say, hey, I saw something I didn't like, and, I'm going to address it. JP?
I think that's fair, but I'll never forget this, and nobody's called Pete out enough for this. Is that backwards or you can read it? It's literally one of I might put it at the second worst coaching decision I've ever seen in the Super Bowl, followed behind the Falcons passing on third down when they were in field goal range, getting sacked and never scoring another point.
Did Darrell Bevel call that play?
You mean for the Seahawks? Yeah. Yeah, that was Bevel's call.
Good call, Urban.
That was Bevel's call. But you notice nobody really blames Russ for that Super Bowl. Not a lot of people are like, yeah, Russ threw a pick. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Matt Ryan gets like a ton of blame for not checking out of a couple of different plays in that Super Bowl when his answer to it, of course, was we were doing this all year with Kyle, so why would I change it now?
And the out to Sanu was a first down, but they called a holding call. Let's not forget about that.
To me, like I said, and I don't, because I know we're talking Pete and Russ.
Hold it. I mean,
but to me, you go back and watch that stuff. Jake Matthews deserves a lot of blame for what happened in that Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
How many times have you watched that Super Bowl? I pray for your heart.
The game itself, I've only watched it the day that we were walking. I went back. I've seen the what's his fucking name? Julian Edelman catch like 15, 20 times. Just that whole last series on offense for both.
Magical.
I've watched a lot. And so
let's get back to Pete and Russ. Do we think there's some smoke in the city?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Without a doubt. And the only thing, and we know what cures that. Winning cures all. But
they're going to be 30.
In this case, I don't even know. Let me see. Who does Seattle have? Look, and they're in a division too this year where currently at 1-1, they're in last place by themselves. So it was already a good division last year because you had 2 playoff teams, including them, who won the division. But they're not as talented as the other teams in that division. And so it's gonna be an uphill battle for them. It's gonna be tough sledding, but I definitely believe that there's some smoke there, and where there's smoke, there's fire. And I think that this is just kind of the start of it. I could see them easily, they're going to be a competitive team because they've got Russ. You know what I mean? When you've got a top 5 quarterback, you're going to be competitive. There's no doubt about that. Even if you don't have a winning record, you're going to be competitive. And have a chance to win every game. And so I could see them, possibly being an 8-9 team. I think we did that in the first show where we kind of went through it. And I was telling you, I said, I don't think Seattle's going to make the playoffs. I said them and the Steelers both, two teams that have never, under Mike Tomlin and under Russell Wilson, neither of those teams have ever had losing records. And so I said, I think that they're both going to have losing records this year. And granted, like I said, we got a small sample size, but it's looking like it's coming to fruition because there's just smoke all around both of them. You know, you could tell Mike wants to get rid of Ben, and you could tell that Pete doesn't want to, or Russ doesn't want to work with Pete anymore.
Yeah, man. Like I say, this is Danny Dimes' last year as the quarterback of the New York Giants. Let's get ready to get those Russell Wilson #3 New York Football Giants jerseys. He's going to bring them back to prominence. And
let me tell you, with him, they really would be good. If you look at it, they got so much talent. If Saquon Barkley can just be
healthy,
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, they have so much talent. Like, I don't think that there's a better 4 wide receiver set in the NFL than the Giants.
Some would argue, but I'm not going to.
4 wide receiver, no tight end, 4 wide receiver.
I mean, Tampa, you can go Scotty Miller, Mike Evans,
okay. Tampa's the only one. Tampa's the only one. But they got a competent group over there. If Galladay can get it to fuck together for my fantasy team, but
try to send me that bullshit too. Yeah, right. Hey, JP, so
$18 million.
It feels great to be Parlay Pete in fantasy football this week, but go ahead.
So you were saying you don't think there's smoke in Seattle. How come?
Just because I believe in Disney World, and it's always seemed like a magical couple to me, and I guess I'm not looking into it hard enough. For one, I completely missed Pete Carroll calling out Russ. Maybe that's why I think there's no smoke. I'll hold my tongue on that since I don't know all the information out there.